Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Barry, that Goat Metal Show. With today, a fucking great interview going to happen right here with me, Tone Joker NYC, and Richard Solid Producer. We got Mark from Electrocutioner, thrash metal band from Long Island. So proud to have him on this show, and I'm just grateful that we have somebody from New York representing thrash again, man. I want to thank Mark for being on the show, and first and foremost, I just want to go and ask you, man. Um, basically this was my first question to you.
Mhm.
What has been like as far as you starting the band, and what drove you to just stick to the thrash sound and bringing it back?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm an old school thrash fan, and I don't really like when thrash gets too modern, and that's fine for other people, but we got the silent producer wearing a demolition hammer in New York thrash metal. It's like, where did that sound go? So I don't know. I've always been a thrash, guy, and a few years ago, I was just at a show, and I was like, I'm sick of this, man. We need that. New York's gotta have an old school thrash band, and that simple as that. I was just like, let's just do it old school and nothing new at all, And it's just a passion for keeping things back to the roots. So we will never change, we will never progress, and we will never get better.
All right, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I mean, it just when I went and I purchased this, I got this from Life After Death Records.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had one of their many sales that they put on. So I saw it and I'm like, oh shit, thrash from New York, buying it. I didn't even hear it, to be honest with you. I didn't even hear it. I swear, I didn't
Oh,
hear it.
yeah.
All I saw was thrash from New York, and I purchased it. I put it on, and I was blown away. And I think I put it on repeat like two or three times, just kept listening to it. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, man.
damn, man, it was just so good. And I went and I sent it to these guys, and I was like, yo, man, we got thrash again, man. We got fucking thrash again, man. You gotta hear it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Rich went back. He heard it. He told me, yo, Barry, this is fucking good, and I love it, man. I just want to let you know I really
Thank you.
appreciate it, man. Really good shit.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Rich, you want to give him something, man? Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to jump in. Usually, when we start off an interview, we like to find out a little bit about how the band started, what year it started.
Mhm.
So can you speak about how the band came together? Because I honestly just found out about you guys, and I don't know really the previous history. So
Yeah.
for those listeners that don't know, tell us a little bit about the beginnings.
Yeah. So actually, during the pandemic, I forgot when it was, but I had was drinking actually, and I was like, I got to do something. So I called up the original drummer. We have a new drummer now, but the original drummer who's on, he's not on that album, but he's on everything before. I called him up. I used to be in like an old school like crossover hardcore thrash, kind of like a Cro-Mags type of stuff, Nuclear Assault back in 10 years ago. I was like, dude, let's start up the band. And then when he finally showed up, I was like, actually, we're gonna do an old school thrash band. So I kind of tricked him.
All right.
But yeah, that was like 2020, right in the pandemic.
Yeah.
We jammed a bunch of times, and really it was like the all the stuff we put out up until the first album was really kind of just like us finding the sound. What's the recipe? Who are the influences? What are we gonna do? What type of riffs do we not do? So some of our early stuff is it's a little raw, and there's like some kind of different stuff. Still old school thrash, but I think the album False Idols is kind of like that's when like we found the secret sauce, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, and just playing a bunch of shows. We played a bunch of shows back in that time, but I feel like we really didn't come into our own until we got our new drummer and put out the album. Now we're kind of like firing on all cylinders.
That's good.
Yep.
All right, yo,
Yeah.
Rich. Tone, you got something for him?
Yeah, I just want to know, besides on thrash, what other influences you have in metal that you use for your band?
For this band, honestly, nothing. All thrash. There might be like kind of like some New York crossover stuff, like Nuclear Assault, but that's still thrash. Maybe some, I guess the only thing I guess what's not thrash is really kind of like early death thrash stuff, like Morbid Saint. Some of the like Exhumer Creator type of stuff, Sodom a little bit, but I really try to like not let anything else like creep into it. I really like I'm strict with that stuff. I'm like, it's gotta like if a riff sounds like a little too death metally or a little more,
Mhm.
hardcore. There is maybe some old school New York hardcore like Cro-Mags type of stuff in the riffs. You can kind of hear it, but I really try to make it filtered down to just old school thrash.
Yeah, because I hear a little more like the creator kind of thing on some of the riffs too from you guys.
Yeah, we have a little bit of that Teutonic, you know, the German thrash and even and some of the Brazilian thrash on the next album. The riffs are like you'll hear a little more like Sepultura, early Sepultura type riffs. So yeah, it's maybe a little bit of that early Death Thrash and that German thrash that kind of was Death Thrash too. So that's about it, honestly.
Nice.
Good, nice.
And so from my recollection, you guys came out on a compilation on 2020, and then 2021 you came out with your first EP. What was it? 48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours to termination. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a different lineup there than the current lineup, right?
Yeah, we have a new drummer who's incredible. He really took us to the next level. Without Tyler, our drummer, we would kind of suck, I think. You know, like if you listen to our early recordings, like it's raw and people like the rawness. I'm not talking smack about my old drummer. He had a more of a raw, kind of improvised, wild man style. And Tyler is like just locked in with old school thrash and more professional in the sound and consistent. And for live shows, it's been, you know, a total game changer because we used to feel like when we'd play live shows, we really couldn't. We never could gel and be cohesive live for whatever reasons there were. But with Tyler, it's just been an absolute, you know, we don't even write a set list. We'll just call it out. What song you want to play? Bam, boom, bam. And he's an animal behind the kid. So yeah. The old lineup was a little more raw, and we're gonna still keep that raw sound, but it's a little more just professional with like the consistency and the skill level and the talent, you know.
I noticed that in 2022, then you came out with the other EP, Escape, and then but with this particular album that you came out last year, False Idols, I noticed that the production level stepped up a bit, the level of playing and stuff, and leading up to your current single that you dropped this year, like you guys like have just elevated the band more and more. Like you know, like you have anything in store, like a new album coming up this year or another EP or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's exactly what the goal was. We actually everything we've done was all done in my basement, except for the Heaven's Gate single. So even the False Idols, I mean, we recorded drums down here. I don't know if you just heard my oil burner just turn on, you know, things like that. So it was all that raw sound. Everything was done down here, from vocals to guitars to drums. Everything was live, no plugins, old school stuff. When the Heaven's Gate single, we wanted to do a little bit more professional, keep it raw, just because you know, it's hard doing super old school because you get, you know, False Idols, I love it, but there's like little things I go, ah, man, like if we were in the studio, it would just sound a little bit tighter and better. But you know, you're limited when you're in the basement. But yeah, we're actually, as soon as this interview is done, we're doing demos for the next album. We have like I think like 7 out of the 9 songs written, ready to go, and we're planning to record it in November and hopefully put it out in the early spring 2025. I want to just keep cooking, putting stuff out, man. I don't want to wait around too long, you know.
Can't wait to hear it, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be awesome.
I'll send you a demo.
and
don't put it on Napster.
Sorry, another quick question that I had was that I noticed also that you guys also incorporate a little bit of synth like into the intros, like almost gives me a feeling of like 80s horror kind of goblinish like sound.
Nice.
Like you guys also do that, the keyboard stuff and everything, like
yeah, I do that. I do all the synth. Yeah, that's like it's like 2 of the influences with that. Actually, I should have said that, Joker. Yeah, I guess there are 2 other influences. A lot of those old John Carpenter, you know, soundtracks. I love Goblin, but not so much Goblin. Goblin's a little too refined for me. I saw Goblin; they were awesome. Yeah, one of John Carpenter, and then the band Exorcist / like Virgin Steel, like on that Exorcist night. If you listen to the album Exorcist Nightmare Theater, that album is basically that's like the template of the False Idols album. It's like synth track, 2 songs, synth track, 2 songs. You know, I think it just adds a little more like atmosphere. So it kind of takes you out of the album. So yeah, we do some of the synth tracks I write beforehand. Some of them actually on the full length, I improvised a lot of those down in the basement. You know, we drink a few beers and put on Terminator, and then
it's always the improvise it. Oh man, it's always the best way.
So I don't know. You know, it's interesting because a lot of people, you know, I'm glad you like them. Some people love them. I love them. Some people think there's like too many. Like, so we're debating on how to do it for the next album. Like, should we like make it a separate track, or should we incorporate it like as an intro to a song so it's 1 track? I don't know what to do yet. We got to figure it out. I mean, either way, they're going to be on there. So, you know, yeah, that's just something I kind of want to figure out how to approach it without taking away from it. But I'm glad you like it, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wanted to ask, basically, I see you guys are just a three-piece. Has it always been a three-piece, or you guys are planning on adding another guitarist into the mix?
Nah, well, never. Always want to do a three-piece. Yeah, one of my favorite bands is like Whiplash. You know,
Yeah,
I love three pieces. You know, Motorhead, Venom, you know, freaking like I said, Whiplash is one of my favorites. Forced Entry is a obscure thrash band. They were a three-piece. I just like a three-piece for, you know, we're a bunch of madmen. If we had to have another person like with schedules, it would suck. But I just like it when it's cool. You know, it works for our songwriting. Like I like to write short thrashier songs. I don't like to write like 6-minute epics. So it's like, you know, if there's only three of you, you know, once someone's doing a guitar solo for 20 minutes, you know, all you hear is bass. So we like to just like it be like compact unit, like just, you know, everyone is, you know, like the guitar it has to stand out, the bass has to do his own thing. There's nobody to cover you. I just think it sounds so much meaner, you know, as a three piece. But yeah, we'll never add anybody ever.
Nice.
Hey,
Unless we get a better singer.
I guess never say never. I mean, if some
That's true.
you know, some guy comes and is like one of these top notch guitarists, goes, "Yo, man, I love your band. I want to get down here," you know, and I mean, you're gonna be like,
yeah, but
Yeah, it's true. I
next-
mean, even
you
Whiplash.
know, you get the next
bro.
Chuck in there or something, you know.
Yeah, it's a good point. Never say never. Whiplash, even after their first two records, added the singer, and they became like a five-piece at one point. So yeah, it could
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, I guess it just depends on the timing and you know who it is.
Yeah.
I won't. I mean, I get it because you know you want to like stick to how you got, but if it's something that's like if somebody pops in and says, "Hey, man, look, I really love you guys, man. I want to get," you know, they throw themselves 1,000% into your formula,
Yeah.
and you know these guys are excellent musicians. I mean, why not?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's gotta work with the formula. Like we're very strict. Like there's never a point where like, you know, 3 albums from now we'll be doing like, you know, Dream Theater, progressive stuff. Like it's
Gospel.
no, we want to get better, but we don't really want if we tweak the sound a little bit, it's gonna stay the same. But it's like, yeah, we'll never evolve past what we are. We want to keep it tight, you know.
Okay, all right, cool.
Nice.
But never say never. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, so you've seen it time and again. I mean, but sometimes it's like I would say it. I said, look, we have a certain formula, but if there is a musician that comes and he's banging on your door, it's not like you guys are looking for him.
Yeah.
He's banging on your door. He's like, yo, guys, I love your music. I like the formula. I want to stick to what you guys got. And you hear his playing, and it's like, okay, he could
Yeah.
definitely get in there, you know.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, where you say you guys been playing a lot. Where you have played out in the island, or have you played anywhere else out of the state of New York?
Yeah, we've had you know, it's funny because when we started the band, I mean, there's still only a handful of thrash bands in the whole state of New York. It's wild, you know,
Shame.
and
It really
yeah,
is a shame.
it's odd, and some, you know, they're a little different. Like there's some crossover thrash bands. There's more like a blackened thrash bands, but there's not. I think we're kind of like the only old school one. But yeah, Long Island's been tough for us, man. Because I book a lot of our shows and stuff, and it's just like the venues really, you know, there's not too many shows that even have bands like us to fit on. So recently where did we just played out of state? I forgot where the hell we played. Oh, we just did a 3-day tour. We did Brooklyn at the Kingsland, which then closed down like 3 days later.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We did Philly, we did Baltimore. Yeah, we've played you know, Pennsylvania and Philly a bunch. But right now the place we're playing Massachusetts coming up, but I've been booking in Queens a lot at the Wild Goose Pub. It's in Woodside, Queens. We got a sick thrash show coming up in October 11th. It's us, Final Siege from New York, Desolus, if you guys want to check them out. They're an old school 3-piece band from Maryland. They sound like Dark Angel and Sodom and Morbid Saint. They're extreme.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are they playing on that October 11th show?
Yeah, they're playing. Yeah, they're playing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah, that's another thing I'm very passionate about. Like when I book shows, I try to bring old school, you know, or just, you know, the raw thrash bands from out of state. So like I just had Sadistic Force at my house from Texas for 3 days, and so yeah, that show's gonna be Desolate, us, Final Siege, Maidenhead, which is like an old school thrash band from Massachusetts, and then Funeral Dancer from Long Island. So yeah, we're mostly playing Brooklyn and Queens, but you know, after this, we're gonna record the album and just see what happens with shows.
All right, well, be sure to send me the information about the show.
Yeah.
I think I would make my way out there. I'm sure.
Yeah, come out, and it's the Wild Goose is a good time. It's all old school metalheads. There's not like any Brooklyn hipsters in quotes with beanies and glasses and looking like they're
Yeah.
gonna.
I've never been to that bar, but I heard that it's underneath the train on Roosevelt.
Yep. Yeah, it's right on Roosevelt. Yeah, and you'll see,
Yeah.
dude, you'll see people wearing the shirts there. It's no Lincoln Park shirts. You're gonna, holy shit, you're wearing that shirt. real like satanic Hispanics and old school metalheads, and
Nice.
it's a nice bar, but it's small enough where if there's like 40 people in there, it feels like it's 1985 and it's jam packed. It's awesome. So it's gonna be a wild one.
Definitely go to that.
Yeah, I'll send you guys the flyer, man.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. And I wanted to ask something real quick. Considering that you've been already in a few tours, and I know you're trying to like do your shows where you wanted to try and keep it more thrash. What's been some of the outer genre shows have you been in, like mixed up like black metal, death metal, any of those, and how did those crowds receive you if you played in those mixed bills?
Yeah, just because there's not too many old school thrash bands, we're usually the only like one of the, if I didn't book the show, it's usually like, yeah, we're playing with death metal bands or this, I don't even know what to call some of these bands nowadays, like whatever they are. But yeah, one of the best reactions we ever had is we played it like the Battle for Vakken in Brooklyn, and it was just a big mixed bill, and we were like just the first band, and fucking people went nuts because we're like, most people never heard of us, and they're like, wow, or it's like one of our favorites is when we play to people who just don't even know who we are, we don't play, and then we just plug in and play, and yeah, the best compliment we get is like, dude, I love that old school thrash. Like there needs to be more of that. So people. What's cool about us is if we play with a different bill, we kind of stand out because no one's really. I mean, there's a lot of old school thrash bands in California and Texas and all over, but in New York, still, it's like I don't know what's going on. People need to bring it back, but death metal's big, so yeah, that's the best compliment we get when we play with the outer genre bands, and people go, "Yo, I love the old school sound." I like the white shoes and the.
Yeah, because I mean, I know what I know what it's like sometimes to when you pay, you're a certain genre and you're playing in a mixed bill or a bill that's mainly focused on one genre and you're the outside one, and
Yeah.
I guess it just depends because you will have, let's say, maybe some of those bands are into the into old school thrash, so they're like in the mix watching you guys, so then their friends see it, and then like it starts becoming more of a it starts picking up that way. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing something like coming up. I got a show with my band. We're playing in November. We're playing an all black metal show, and this is gonna be our first time playing in one of those type of shows. So I'm kind of curious to see how the black metal audience reacts to us, even though some of them do know us or whatever. But the ones that don't, I'm curious. I'm just curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we always like to get in early too. Like when people offer us spots, like, you want a headline? Like, no, we want to play like second, because like people kind of stay, they'll check you out. If they just, it's kind of like me, man. If there was like all thrash bands and there's like the black metal band, I'm like, all right, I might, So it's kind of cool when you get eyeballs early on. So hopefully you guys are playing earlier.
Yeah, I think they probably got us second or something like that.
Where's that show?
It's in Queens. Rich, was it El Diablo Underground?
Oh, Bunker El
Diablo.
Yeah.
Send me that flyer. We got to exchange flyers. Got to come out too, man.
But that's the flyers, because the guy who's headlined his band, Mordant Red, he's from Texas. He's the one that's coming up here. He's touring, so he's the one that's setting up everything. So he's gonna let us know once everything's set up. The band's on the band's on the list, and then once that's set up, I'll let you know.
Yeah, send me. I'll try to get out there.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I appreciate it, man. It'd be nice. I mean, it's just I my guitarist is he's a big black metal fan, and I like black metal, but I mean he's hardcore. He's a hardcore fan. He loves black metal, so he's talking about actually putting on the corpse paint and all that. So I think we'll be all regular. He's gonna be the standout on the corner with the corpse paint and everything. So that'll be kind of funny.
I like that.
Yeah, man. So that would actually be fucking cool. I mean, I just think about that sometimes, because I mean, I've made mention before about how things used to be back, in the 80s and 90s, when genres were pretty much to themselves. You had thrash, you had hardcore, you had death metal, and so on, and those genres pretty much stuck together. Then when we got into the 90s, everybody started kind of like mixing, and that's when you started getting the cross, we got death metal and hardcore, thrash and death and so on. And so I think back then when we were talking about the 90s, I think it was good that you had so many mixed bills and it wasn't a big deal. You went to a show and you saw Deicide playing with Agnostic Front, that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, people went and they went crazy whichever way. So
yeah, I've talked about it before, especially in New York. I don't know what's like in other places, but you'll see a little bit of that. Usually, like it's like one or two hardcore bands thrown in, like some death metal bands. But usually, it's interesting that you said that. Like I feel like the hardcore genre, they've become more siloed. Like you'll never see like a hardcore show just put on a death metal band or a thrash metal band.
No.
Like you'll see death metal. I think a lot of metal guys, they love hardcore, so they'll throw it on there. A lot of the hardcore kids, it's interesting. I've been going to shows forever. Like it used to be more crossover with the hardcore kids, but now it's like they just kind of keep. It's not a bad thing. I think it's kind of cool to kind of be all hardcore. But yeah, they don't seem to be like branching out as much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just goes more with maybe the old school bands, because a lot of the people who are, let's say, in thrash or death metal might know, like, the Agnostic Fronts, Mad Balls, and so
right.
So it's like if they're playing, they know those bands and they'll go and see them. But a lot of the newer bands probably want to still stick to
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
hey man, hardcore is way more popular than thrash metal, so maybe they're doing something right.
Well, I mean, look, that's why I wanted we wanted to get this talk with you and talk about because it's like the fact that we got this sound back the way, and I say I'm not trying to blow up your head more than what it is, man, because I'm just giving you the facts. It's good to have old school thrash again, because I told Rich, and I was gloating. I said, dude, it brought me back to when I was a teen. It just gave me that feel. It just gave me that time when we used to go to shows and listen to these bands, and when we used to go to the shows and see obscure thrash metal bands that you never heard of. I did I think it was when was it? I did one of those little minute short videos on YouTube where I was listening to an old demo of this band from Jersey called Technikill. I don't know if nobody heard it. They're an old.
Wow, never heard of that one either.
Yeah, early thrash metal band from the 90s. So I put it up, and one of the members from Technikill came on my comments, and he was like, "Oh my God, somebody still got our demo, and this, that, and the other." And he was like so happy that we were able to just put that out. So I think I messaged him back, hey, you guys, and he said, "Nah, man, we've been like long gone. Everybody's pretty much doing their thing," but he was just grateful with the fact that I had the old demo and I put it out there, and but it was back then. You just went and saw these great bands, and some of them made it, some of them didn't make it, or some of them just stood under the radar, and and it's just good. I mean, but I'm glad that you guys are putting that out there again, and now hopefully your name gets put out there again and brings that thrash metal element back to New York, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, no, I love that type of stuff. I gotta check out Technikill. I mean, like there's like a Facebook group like Long Island Heavy Metal, and it's like they're always posting demos, and it's like a lot of there's so many Long Island thrash bands that like nobody knows. You know what I mean? Like they know more like the New York, New Jersey thrash bands that got bigger, but there's so many there's just like dozens and dozens of bands. And I try to bring some of them back too. Like we played a show with a band from Queens. I know one of the guys, Caligula, back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, I had him on a show a few years ago and brought him to Amityville in Long Island. I was like, shit fucking rules, So yeah, I gotta check out Technikill. But yeah,
it was old, man.
Yeah, but it's awesome because people like you post one of those demos on Facebook and people like at the guy and they start commenting like, yeah, well, we should get back together, and it's amazing,
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that works out too, where it just it gives them that little thing like, oh man, a little spark. Oh, there's interest again. Yo, let's get the band back together.
Yeah, and the young kids eat it up too, man. They want to see the older guys, play.
Yeah,
legends.
Just to see the nostalgia live.
Yeah.
Oh
Mark,
man.
I was gonna ask you, you're from Long Island. What part of Long Island are you from?
I'm from Deer Park, which is like next to Babylon in Suffolk County.
Yeah. So you probably grew up going to all those clubs like the Sundance and the Roxy and all those other places, right? Like that were around.
No, I'm too young. I just missed those places. I think Lemoore closed just like when I was able to like get in there, and a lot of those places closed when I was like just a few years missed it. But I was going to places like the Crazy Donkey in the downtown Long Island.
Donkey, yeah.
Like that was my I graduated high school in like 2004, so I kind of missed that era. So it sucks. So I just watch those shows on YouTube now. Every time someone comes up to me and go, dude, were you at Sundance? I'm like, I'm so jealous, man. Stop.
Crazy.
See some of those bills.
So when you grew up in Long Island, you were listening to music, going to like concerts and stuff like that. And obviously, what were some of the musicians or bands that influenced you, like with guitar playing and stuff? Like, what are some of your favorites? Like,
Yeah.
That's a good question, man. You know, when I was growing up, not growing up, but like when I was in, it was kind of like the dark period of heavy metal, man. Like I saw Anthrax in a club that fit like 300 people in Long Island, and there was like 200 there, you know? So it was like the dark days of like thrash metal wasn't that big. You know, locally, I don't know. Locally, no one really influenced me because it was always going to stuff that my friends wanted to see, and like there was none of like the stuff I wanted to see. So I was just influenced by like Megadeth. You know, when I heard Megadeth and the guitar shred, and that changed my life. That blew my brains out. You know, but locally, yeah, there wasn't really. I was going to, you know, when I got out of high school, I guess I was going to a lot more hardcore shows because that was like you know, seeing like the violence and the chaos and the energy and the toughness. That was very inspiring to see like that stuff going, but there wasn't really like old school thrash bands even back then. I feel like, or if I missed them, I guess, you know, I couldn't get into a lot of shows too because of my age. It sucked.
yeah, yeah.
And what a way to make us feel old, Mark. Thank you.
Well, I might be older than you think. I might be older than you think.
Oh,
So you got a question, or I got another one, but I don't want to, you know, I want to let someone talk.
So you know, for being young, you really, you know, thrash was really in the early time. You know, you're besides thrash, you don't listen to besides hardcore and thrash. You're not into death or none of that other.
Oh no, yeah, I like it. I listen to. I mean, I listen to everything, dude. I listen to like, you know, opera. I listen to jazz. I listen to everything. Thrash is just my bread and butter. That's just what I eat. That's just what I listen to every day. Death metal, I like, you know, I like old school death metal. So like the new stuff, I'll check it out. But I kind of, I like the death thrash era. You know, I like the big, you know, death metal bands. I'm trying to think of some newer bands that I like from death metal. I can't even think right now. I always tell there's a band from Power Trip. Yeah, I saw Power Trip a bunch. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like outer genre stuff. Like there's a band from Chile I really like called Suffering Sights. They're a death metal band. And I like the new Deicide album. I like everything Immolation puts out, you know. Newer hardcore, I don't really check out any of that stuff. I like the older stuff. But yeah, I listen to everything. Thrash is just, you know, I gotta put it on every day.
And I noticed that the artwork is very like throwbackish. Do you guys do the artwork, or do you have a certain artist that you work with? Like,
oh, you said the artwork?
The artwork of the covers of the album. Yeah.
Yeah, let me think. So the first EP and the second EP were done by this guy, iDust. He does a lot of stuff for bands like Gate Creeper, Dead Heat. I think he's done some stuff for Dead Heat. The guy who did False Idols, the artist's name is Wormwalk. He's sick. That's a real paint. So all the other artwork we have is all digital. That's a real painting on wood. So it's amazing. So he's got that cool vibe. He's done a lot of great stuff with bands like Frozen Soul. I forgot who else he's worked with, but he does incredible stuff. And the guy who did the single for Heaven's Gate is another guy from I forgot where he's from, but he's also doing the album art for the next album. So yeah, we want to keep it retro and old school and kind of look like, you know, 80s, like a you know, Terminator type of style, the John Carpenter stuff. Yeah, that's our vibe. You know, we want to keep it raw.
Nice.
And I would not considering that. I mean, you know, of course, since you mentioned your age and you are young, I mean,
no, I'm 38. I'm 38. You're 40.
How? I mean, you know, considering that early, you know, the '80s vibe that you get, what got you into that stuff? Because sometimes, you know, it's just something. What got you into that '80s vibe?
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I kind of grew up on metal, so like I always like knew, like, you know, I had older brothers and my dad, you know, they were into Metallica, and I'd hear like Sabbath and stuff. You know, I got obsessed with Megadeth when I was like, I don't know, middle school or high school, and that really just blew my mind. I just think it's better, man. I just think the '80s thrash, and I love a lot of '90s thrash too. I just think thrash metal, when it was just pure thrash metal, was the best. Like once the band started incorporating like groove metal and what's up?
Think you're frozen, or maybe from my side?
That's on your side, Tone.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry. I think you're back. You're back.
Oh, you came back.
You're back.
Yeah, so I just think like when thrash metal was purely thrash metal or like death thrash, that was like the best. That was like the best sound for the genre. I mean, other people could disagree and like what they like, but I thought like when thrash when like once they started tuning down to like C sharp, or they got too crazy with like the influences of whether it's groove metal and having all these breakdowns. Like even like later era Sepultura. It's fine if you like it. It's just, to me, I like the old school thrash, just speed and just to me it should be super fast, a little bit raw, and just crazy guitar playing. I just love that sound the best. To me that's just what I love.
Nice.
So your favorite, the way it sounds, your favorite thrash band is Megadeth, right?
Yeah, I always say, like, I don't know if I have a favorite thrash band, but yeah, I would say like if I had to name like my favorites, definitely would be Megadeth. Like their first three albums, I like.
Yeah, that's
the
my
best.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. Megadeth, Whiplash, Overkill. I love Overkill so much. Nuclear Assault, Demolition Hammer. I'm trying to think. I love Slayer. I love early Slayer, early Sepultura. And then there's like more obscure bands that I listen to all the time, like Forced Entry. I love. Trying to think.
What about European thrash bands, like from Germany, like?
Yeah, my favorite. I love Exhumer from Germany. Protector, I love. I love all the big four of the Teutonic thrash. Probably like Creator, and I love Tankard, actually. I feel like Tankard's so on. Their first few records are like evil, and then I know they did the beer thing, but I'm like a thrash freak. Like like I always do it by countries too. Someday I'm like, yo, today I'm just gonna listen to Brazil, or today we're just gonna do Sweden. But I think American is the best thrash. Just because there's so many styles within. You have the Bay Area, you have the Texas thrash, which is sick. You have, what I mean, like the New York, East Coast, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania kind of vibe. But yeah, I like that 86 to, I even like some of them, like the early 90s stuff that went on in like the USSR and all those countries. They had some wild stuff. Like there's a band called Aspid. They had like one album called Extravasation, I think. It's wild. Trying to think who else is some of those bands. But yeah, that's like my favorite stuff.
Yeah, I need to get a list of some of those bands, those real underground bands that from out there and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. It's we grew up like you guys can't be that much older than me, but like it was like I kind of grew up when Napster was coming out, like high school and stuff. But like nowadays, it's so easy for these young kids. Like I'll meet like 16-year-old kids into thrash, and I go, "How do you know all this?" Dude, you could just go like type in on YouTube obscure thrash playlist, and they just give you 400 albums. You go, "Holy shit! How did I wish I had this."
Oh, yeah. I think like I said, if we had this back in the 90s, man, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be in Europe in my my bus chilling.
Yeah. Back in the day, you went to the record store. If you bought a Slayer CD, it's like, I guess this is all I can listen to for the next month. So you just listen to it 100 times.
Yeah. That's not.
But now, speaking of which, now when it comes to like the old school thrash and the way thrash is being played. How do you feel? Because I mean, I'm not really too much of a fan of this style of thrash. Some people like it. They call it that party thrash or pizza thrash. How do you feel about those thrash? That thrash?
Yeah, I absolutely despise it. I hate it. I feel bad. It's funny because it's really popular. And we play with those bands, and they're all nice guys. So I try not to, like, when we don't play with pizza thrash bands, I talk a lot of shit about it on stage because I hate it. But look, if it's, I try not to. I'm trying to be nicer, like if you guys like it, not you guys. If people like it, cool. I just don't like, like SOD. I love SOD, and like they got a lot of comedy in their metal, so that's fine. Like I get where it comes from and stuff too, and that's cool. I just think that like like even like the Municipal Waste flirts with like the beer stuff, and that's cool. And obviously we got Tankard, who kind of, you could say, influenced that stuff. I just think that like overall, like it shouldn't be too corny, like there should be still some like kind of balls behind it, and I just think it's funny. Like, not that it's funny, like it's a personal thing. Like when I write lyrics, I like to write about like like some serious stuff, like like the end of the world. I couldn't. Maybe one day I'll write a song about getting drunk and eating pizza, but I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine just writing a million songs about that stuff. So to each their own, but I don't know. I don't want to be funny all the time. I consider, I'll watch a funny movie. I don't want to listen to funny thrash, but
yeah, I mean, look, especially if you're gonna go and watch them live. I mean, I guess sometimes they gotta go and do a stage show and stuff.
And to be fair to like what you just said, Barry, they are very fun live. Like we play with them and I go, yeah, it's because it's a party. And, people who aren't into thrash metal, they love party thrash because it's like fun. It's inclusive. Like you don't have to worry about someone killing you in the pit. So I get the attraction to it for sure. Sorry, cutting you off, man.
No. I get it just for the live show aspect. That's what I was gonna say. The live show aspect of it, yeah. Because if you're just there to have a good time or whatever, yeah. But to actually go and put out like somebody to sit at home and listen to it, and it's like, it doesn't. To me, it's more like watching. If you're gonna go and watch Barney live, you see him live. You don't want to listen to Barney. You know what I
Barney?
mean? Yeah, Barney. Yeah, I was saying Barney, or when you take your kids, the kids are not gonna want to listen to a Barney song when they rather see him live. You know what I mean? That's what I look at Pizza Thrash and stuff like that. If you're gonna,
maybe
it should just be something just for live. I'm not gonna sit there and spend
$12. Maybe it's gonna be like a gateway drug. Maybe people, maybe that's a good thing about it. Maybe it gets people into thrash and speed metal and death metal just because it's kind of fun. Maybe that's the upside to it. I never saw, look, at the end of the day, I always tell people, like, what do you like? I go, I never get the urge to put it on, like I like bands like Typo Negative and stuff, but I never get the urge to put them on, it's been other people put it on. So I never get the urge to put on Pizza Thrash ever. I get the urge to eat pizza, but I never get to put on Pizza Thrash.
Beer,
so,
yeah.
Oh man. But all right. So you got something else there?
You got another one, Tom?
Let me see. Nah, really. Yeah.
You gotta stay prepared, man.
Yeah, man.
So you know what? Like, I know that we've been talking a lot about thrash, and I like to sometimes throw a question to put people on the spot, right?
Well, yeah,
so
please
off
do.
the top of your head, right? Like, give me maybe 5 of your top thrash albums of all time.
All right. Top 5 in no order.
Your personal ones. They don't have to be the best ever.
Yeah,
personal
for sure.
top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The top 5, top of my head. Megadeth's first album. I love that album. Whiplash, Power and Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Angel, Time Does Not Heal, their last album.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that album. I think it's their best for sure. Demolition Hour, Epidemic of Violence, and Forced Entry's second album, As Above, So Below. Those are just off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yeah. All good choices, all diverse too. Yeah.
Now in that question, we'll throw this.
All right.
5 any genres of albums that you listen to that you think are
the
best, and
so my like top 5 like non-metal genre.
Or whatever. No, whatever. It could be metal, it could be Johnny Cash. I don't care, man. If you listen to it, throw it in there.
All right. So it's like top 5, I'll just do not metal. I'll just try to think out of the box. I'll see what I got. All right, T-Rex, the Slider. I love T-Rex. I don't know if you guys listen to T-Rex.
Yeah.
Non-metal. Damn, it sucks. It's hard. I never really do it. T-Rex, the Slider. It's hard, man. I'm trying to think what I like. What do I like that's not metal? Probably some John Carpenter soundtracks I'll listen to a lot.
That's cool.
Nice.
Damn. Maybe the Cro-Mags, Art of Quarrel. I'll throw that in there.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm trying to think of some non-metal stuff off the top of my head. I've been listening to Prince Purple Rain actually this year.
I love that album.
It's great. Great guitars on that. Fucking Prince is a phenomenal guitarist, man.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think of something. I don't know, man. I listen to T-Rex a lot, so that's usually like my non-metal. You know what I'm trying to think of? I don't know. You know what? I should get more into the album, but I listen to Sinead O'Connor sometimes, like a lot.
O'Connor.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that. I think I'm missing someone who I really like. I forget. But it's on top. I'm so bad when people ask me things. I'll forget. I'm like, oh, that's why I forgot to mention this person.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man.
So,
I mean, sometimes also it's nothing wrong. That's one thing we me, Rich, and Tone, we talked about that. We don't have a problem talking about outside of metal music because you got to sometimes stay a little bit within that thing of being diverse with music, because you might take something from like you said, you've been listening to Prince, and I'm sure it's because I would sit there and listen to Purple Rain like, yo, his fucking guitars was crazy. That was some phenomenal guitar playing for what it was back in the mid 80s for what he was doing. That was a fantastic. His fucking guitars are crazy. So,
well, I like it, and when you listen to metal too, like you guys, you're in a band, so it's like you can hear it. And you go, oh, this is what I would do. You hear yourself playing solos. So but it's like I could never write something because like whatever Prince and T-Rex and even like the Go-Go's, bro. I listen to the Go-Go's and I'm like, oh, this is a great pop song. Like I like to, I'll appreciate it because I can never do something like that, you know. So like listening to like a cool, you know, I think there's like good music and bad music. So there's obviously pop music that's just like surface level. It's they don't actually care. But when you listen to something like, you know, Michael Jackson or something that like you go, damn, like I can never write a song like this. This is, you know, I appreciate the talent, you know.
I have a question for you. I see that you're a John Carpenter fan, right?
Yeah.
What are your favorite 5 movies from him then?
All right. Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yes.
I'm putting vampires in there. I love vampires, man.
I love vampires. Very underrated. A lot of people don't seem to like it. It has kills like crazy.
Especially I love vampires. Yeah, I love vampires, man. I'm trying to think because I don't want to throw something on there that I missed. I'm so bad with this, dude. I gotta. Do I throw Big Trouble on there?
Big Trouble. I love Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, I don't know.
My favorites.
I feel like I'm blanking on one that I should be putting on there. That's one of my favorites.
The Thing?
Oh yeah, definitely The Thing. Thank you, sir. Yeah. And then I do
Prince
like
of
Escape
Darkness?
from. I like Prince of Darkness, but I wouldn't put on my favorite. I like Escape from LA on there, but I don't think it's one of his best.
They Live is John
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There we go. They Live. I knew it. I'm looking at my VHS now. I'm so bad, dude. I have the worst memory when people say like your top 5, and then I'll say some stupid shit, and I go, what was I thinking?
So now you mentioned John Carpenter. We'll say this: what? How do you feel about those the redone movies like Halloween and The Thing and all that other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a good one. And not just John Carpenter. I think like a lot of the Thing is a remake, right? Of like the 50s movie. So you know, I just think I haven't seen it, but I've heard like one of the newer. I think all the Halloweens kind of suck. You know, I mean, whatever, but the new ones. I've heard like one of the new Friday the 13th was really good. I haven't checked that out, but I heard it was really good. Same thing with some of the newer Texas Chainsaw Massacres, or something. I don't remember, but I just watched the old ones, you know.
Me too. I stick to the old ones.
Yeah.
There's talks about I forgot the name of the director. He's this new director that he's been doing real good with reviving the old genres of horror. Like he did the Evil Dead, and what's his last movie that he did? It's gonna come to me that he might do the sequel to The Thing. Director.
Oh wow!
He did Aliens. He did the new Aliens. It just
okay. Yeah, I haven't checked out the new Aliens. I heard the new one was good, but yeah,
yeah, I heard it was good too.
Yeah, I like it. It's a throwback to but just better yet, just watch it because I don't want to say too much. But it mixes the second and the first Alien movie in it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I always liked the original Alien. I just hated where they went with it. It's kind of like the Predator. Like I loved it, but then like I wish the universe they made after it was like sick, you know, and they kind of dropped the ball.
You know what they never done with the Predator? They've never gone to his planet. If you watch all the Predator movies, they never talk. He's never in his planet. It's always,
that's a good point. They should.
It's always out somewhere else, but never in his planet. Nobody knows.
But they showed it in one movie, didn't they? They showed
a clip of it, but the movie's never taken place in his planet.
Yeah, that would be
how they live, their society, how they run their their governments or stuff.
Yeah, I guess that'd be. I wonder. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like to see what maybe. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that you know it's funny because that last Predator movie that came out,
the Prey one.
Yeah, the one with that freaking oversized Predator that went and was there killing. That Schwarzenegger was supposed to make the appearance, and that he did the deleted scene.
That's not the Prey.
No, not Prey. It was the last one before that. It was just called Predator, I think, or something. I forgot the name of it, but I know Schwarzenegger came out of the deleted scene. He was supposed to pop out in that movie. They said that movie with that gene spliced predator that went down there that was going after the smaller predator to kill him and all that stuff. They said that the next sequel was supposed to be them going to the planet, actually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because they were talking about how the predator that was there initially was supposed to help the humans with the armor That's why you saw that part there where that doctor or whoever put the armor on, where he put the mask and the armor came all flying on. They were supposed to help the humans with the armor because those spliced up predators were having, I think, some type of civil war on their planet. They were trying to take over.
I
Yeah,
want to see a civil war.
That was supposed to be like, oh shit, you were gonna have a bunch of humans that were gonna go over there with the predator armor, and then they were supposed to go over there and I guess help out those predators that were being fucked up by these fucking steroid predators that were trying to take over. Yeah, you don't look at that. You see how good that sounds? It's like, why they can't just do it?
I'd watch that. I'd watch that.
I watch it too. But you know what? Now, even with music, metal has gone, you know, their way. Like you said, some of the newer thrash you're not into. The same thing with some of the newer horror. It's just same way. I prefer the old stuff.
Yeah, it's like metal. It's the same thing. It should be a little more raw, you know, and stop putting like love relationships. I don't want to see that crap. Just
and make sure it's not PG-13.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be R, man. It's got to be R.
We need it R.
Mark, I wanted, you know, I know your time is valuable and we appreciate the interview. So I wanted to kind of crunch in a couple of more quick questions before we wrap up. But you have
lightning round.
Yeah.
You have mentioned that you do a little bit of promotion. I wanted to find out if you have a promotion company or just independently, like, you know, promoting the shows.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. It's called New York Metal Command. That's where like I put that's where like I book shows and stuff and try to book bands from out of state, you know. And I think I've put on like 16 or 17 shows, and it's like every 2-3 months I try to put one on. It's always old school stuff. I'm never putting on like, you know, it's got to be like old school and like good local bands, and it's good local bands and out of state like old school sounding bands, death metal, thrash metal, whatever it may be. So New York Metal Command, yeah. Nice.
And then obviously your band, you guys have Facebook, Instagram, and Bandcamp, right? Like if people want to purchase like physical media and T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, go to our Bandcamp, and then on Instagram, Electrocutioner Thrash. We have a Facebook. I guess people are still using it. We don't do TikTok though, so.
Why not? Isn't that the thing of the times? Oh my god.
Yeah, well, whatever. I know.
You guys are on Spotify?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. Absolutely, everything's on Spotify, YouTube. We try to put it out everywhere.
Yeah, you guys have a YouTube handle, right? I think I did tag you on.
Yeah, we have a new music video. Just as a warning, guys, it says my battery is low.
Okay.
But we got all our music videos. We got a music video for Heaven's Gate, Seven Lamps of Fire. We're gonna have a new music video dropping probably in like a month or so. We filmed it at New Jersey Metal Fest when we played with Whiplash and stuff like that. For Asleep at the Wheel, which is a song on the new album, on the old album, False Idols. So cool. Should be sick. It's got a video of a kid like breaking his collarbone. He did like a swanton bomb off the stage and just ate it. I'm gonna put the footage to good use though.
All right, so look, man, we don't want to get you cut off here real quick. If you could name 5 thrash legends that you would play in a band with, who would it be? And for each instrument, real quick, if you could think off the top of your head.
Gotcha. So I want to have just Dave Mustaine and Chris Poland. So
nice.
I guess we'll have 3 guitar players. So them 2, because those are my favorites. On drums, dude, it might just be all freaking. Actually, you know, singer, I want Bobby Blitz.
All right.
From Overkill. Drummer. Ooh. Do I go Dave Lombardo or? Yeah, let's go Dave Lombardo on drums.
Yeah,
Bass, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna go Cliff Burton. I'm gonna go.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I might want to change that too. I might want Gene Hoglan on the drums. Yeah, I want Gene Hoglan.
Okay.
And nice. I want Ron McGovney from Metallica on bass. Yeah.
Whoa.
I always tell people to check it out. He did a sick demo because it was like I said I forgot what interview I did, but he did a sick demo with the singer of Hyrax and Gene Hoglan on drums. It's called Phantasm. Wow. Yeah, it's called Phantasm. It's like back in the 80s. It's fucking awesome, dude.
Oh, so
yeah, check that out. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, man. You guys, Rich, Tone, anything real quick before we wrap it up?
I think we got
send the flyer. I'm very interested to see your band live.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it. I'll text it to Barry as soon as we wrap up.
Oh, okay.
So you got October 11th in Queens at the, what was it, the Goose?
Yeah. So we're playing. Actually, we're gonna play there twice. We're playing October 11th at the Wild Goose, and then we're playing there November 1st. Also with some bands to be announced, and then that's probably it for local shows for a while. And then I think we might be playing Texas in December. We're gonna figure that out. So
there's a good band in Texas called Annihilator.
The
Thrash.
old band, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in. He joined in Devastation, I believe, and then yeah. I like that. Got that. It's on Wild Rags, that record. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
The reissue of it. I love that Thrash. It was good.
Yeah, you know what? I have his original demo after that, because then after I think they changed their name to Sufferance. I have that. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That guy's cool. Yeah, he did a good interview on, I think it was called the Metal Forge. I'll give them a shout out. He like talked about the whole history of the band.
They played recently in Texas.
Yeah, all those bands like Gamicide, I heard is on the new Hell's Heroes. So I would love to see Annihilator, both Annihilators.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So good.
All right,
guys. Well, look, that's pretty much it, man. I want to thank Mark for joining us. And this was a fantastic interview, man. I appreciate it. Keep putting out some sick thrash, man. Making New York great again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. So look, you guys will make sure to have Mark's and Electrocutioner's info in the description. Be sure to check them out. Check out their new album. Check out the album False Idols. Well, right? That's not False Idols. I'm blind. I'm sorry. Yeah, False Idols. Check the shit out. It is old school as old school gonna get for the modern time, man. You'll love it, man. Check it out. All right, guys. Thanks so much. This is Barry, Rich, and Tone from That Goat Metal Show. Take care, guys.